What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name's Kyle. Tonight, Thursday night, NBA is back. Excited to have NBA back after the All-Star break. What we're going to be doing with tonight's show, and I think most shows going forward, we're going to go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's going to be my live stream nights for the NBA. And I'll try and get my friends John and Drake to join one of those nights. But for now, we're going to do a solo pod tonight. We're going to be looking at some interesting things. We'll hop into some box scores. We'll take a peek at some of the news and the notes. Starting with a couple things that I was interested in, because the Chris Paul injury is going to open up a lot of playing time for somebody. And it looks like Cameron Johnson is the one that they're going to start in the starting lineup here. They're going to let Devin Booker bring the ball up. Cameron Johnson's going to be the guy that gets the more minutes here. So we'll take a peek at the Phoenix Suns and see what they got going on. Let's go and see what's going on with Chicago. So Zach LaVine's going to be in the starting lineup. They got Dosunmu, LaVine, Javonte Green, a good player on the waiver wire that we can look at, DeMar DeRozan, and then Vucevic. That means Kobe White goes back to the kind of the sixth man role. So we'll take a peek at that. Shout out, what's going on, Aiden? Hope you're doing well, man. We'll talk some Blazers. Yeah, the Blazers that's a team that I want to watch, especially with Nurkic getting hurt. I want to see who's going to be getting the minutes at the 4-5. It looks like this Trendon Watford is going to be their guy that they gave a lot of money to, and then Drew Eubanks. Like, there's some potential there for some points at the big position for the Blazers. So I'm interested in that. We'll see what happens there. But from other main news and notes around the league, Brook Lopez, he took part in Thursday's practice, but is still a ways off. Kevin Durant, though, says going to make his return to action within the next 3 games. So you're going to get Kevin Durant ready for next week for sure. The Celtics starting lineup tonight was Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Robert Williams. Taylor Hero going to play. And let me see. That's kind of it. I did see something. I thought Harden's going to be playing tomorrow night too. So interesting news and notes, but let's get peeled into some, let's see if you get some box scores. We'll come back to this. That's the free league. Greg Brown is going to be his big. He's interesting. I wanted to pull, let's pull up the Blazers up because they're going to be playing tonight against the Warriors in about an hour and a half. So that's kind of the marquee game for TNT tonight. And I was looking at, who's available, like who's going to get the minutes here. Nurkic was leading the team, of course, at the center position here. And you look down a little bit, they don't really have a true big guy. I did like Trendon Watford's interesting because they just gave him a 4-year, $5.8 million contract. I don't know if that's going to be something that sticks out. And Greg Brown was a guy here who was getting some minutes. Really consistent player. When he gets minutes, he has been productive. So this is an interesting situation. You're probably going to see Greg Brown III and Trendon Watford both get some playing time. Is Cody Zeller even with the team anymore? No. I don't know. Have they made any moves at the power forward position? Let's go take a peek at this roster for the Portland Trailblazers. And Portland's interesting because they were playing some of the best ball before the All-Star break. Like, they're showing like, hey, we actually have a decent team right now. But let's take a peek at this depth chart here. So they put Trendon Watford in there. He's probably the guy. Drew Eubanks is another guy here. Justice Winslow and Greg Brown going to kind of get shifted here at the 4 position. So let's take a look here. Drew Eubanks, is he even on the list here? Did they just add him perhaps? Eubanks, I remember, he was a San Antonio player. So this is interesting. He was playing with San Antonio, and he's a pretty productive player when he gets the minutes. He was assigned to a 10-day contract, but I think for the time being, the player to add is going to be Trendon Watford. And you know what? I kind of want to add him tonight before the game even goes. Like, I know I'm not going to get him to start, but he's only got one more game left in here. But if he plays well tonight, he's going to be the hot pickup. So this is the guy, Trendon Watford. See if he's going to get the minutes there. But let's hop into, I want to kind of just use Thursday Night Live to pop into some box scores and see what we got going on, starting with Cleveland and the Detroit Pistons. So let's see here. Lauri Markkanen, good to see him back. He's got 14 minutes. He started the game tonight. 1 of 7 shooting, not the greatest, but he's already got 9 points. So he must be getting to the free throw line. And right now, the Pistons hanging tough, 65-63. They actually have the lead. Okoro playing well, 3 of 5 shooting, 8 points. There is Jarrett Allen, 7 points, 7 boards. Mobley, kind of a low game here for Mobley, not playing his greatest. Only 2 points, 3 rebounds. Not too much action for him. Rajon Rondo got the start tonight, looking like he's useful. As we were hoping Garland would come back, but I don't see Garland back yet. Kevin Love still coming off the bench. Dean Wade getting some minutes here. So kind of a weird lineup here with no Garland yet for the Cavaliers. On the Pistons side of things, Jeremy Grant, 17 minutes. He's got 6 points, 2 boards, 1 assist. Sadiq Bey, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 points. Isaiah Stewart, 6 rebounds and 11 points. Looks like he's having himself a good game. Only 63% rostered. If he's available in your 10-man league, please make sure you got him locked up. Corey Joseph getting the start tonight. He actually had been getting a lot of minutes right before the All-Star break, like averaging almost 20s, upper 20s minutes per game, dipping into the 30s. So interesting player here. If he continues to get those starter minutes, I guess I'm interested. He's a good scorer, good rebounder, good assisting guard. So monitor Corey Joseph, I suppose. Looks like he was picked up in one of these leagues here. And then Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham has been playing really great. You see his ownership is pretty high, so he's not going to be available. But he's starting to was starting to come into his own before the All-Star break, and then he had the minor. I can't remember what the injury was. But it looks like he's rolling. And then off the bench, Marvin Bagley, 6 of 9 as a shooter. Marvin Bagley, 12 points. He's only 49% rostered, but you see here with 3 games with the Pistons, 21 minutes, 23 minutes, 19 minutes, playing well tonight. Not really getting steals or blocks or anything, but the points and the rebounds are there. We'll be interested to see. He's already got 19 minutes in this game, so he's going to finish with a lot more, probably his season high with the Knicks. So we're going to watch Marvin Bagley. He might be a guy that we talk about on the waiver wires. Hamidou Diallo looks like he's playing well tonight, shooting the ball hot. He's a guy here that's been pretty streaky for fantasy so far. But interesting. Let's see here. The Pistons looking like they're in control of this one so far. Let's move it on to this one. This one's currently on live right now on TNT Live. Boston at Brooklyn. Brooklyn missing their stars, of course, but they're getting some guys worked in. So we'll look at Brooklyn in a second here, but Boston's up 55-41. Starting for the Celtics, again, we mentioned Al Horford. Horford's an interesting player. He's 80% rostered, continuing to just play really well at a high level. So I like what they're doing with this big lineup of Horford and Robert Williams together. So Tatum, Horford, Williams, Smart, Jaylen Brown getting the start tonight. And then guys off the bench, you're seeing Grant Williams, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard. We still haven't seen Daniel Tice enter the game yet. They did get a couple extra pieces here that I like. So I'm liking what the Celtics are doing. They're going to be competitive. Derek White playing really good ball for them right now. Moving on down to the Nets. Bruce Brown, leading scorer tonight, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Not a guy that people had been banking on, but the last 5 games he's been playing pretty hot. I don't know. I guess as long as Durant and Simmons are going to be out, and Kyrie as well too. This is an interesting player. Andre Drummond and Aldridge. These are probably the hottest names on the waiver wire, but I think right now I'm going to list Drummond as the must-add player. 52%. He's seen an increase here, and he's the center, man. He's the starting center for the Brooklyn Nets. I do like Aldridge as a backup here, but he's going to be a little bit more, I think, less minutes, just less ceiling. And then Blake Griffin, of course, not having a great game. Blake Griffin's really not usable for fantasy right now. Looking at these last few games, I would rather own for sure Aldridge or Drummond. Kessler Edwards back to the bench, Nick Claxton back to the bench. So again, we mentioned potentially seeing Kevin Durant back in the next couple games. Probably better off waiting for next week, as well as Ben Simmons. But ugly here for the Nets. They're losing by 14 so far, right before halftime. Hawks and Bulls. This is a fun game, fun one. End of the first quarter, Chicago's up 24-19. Starting for the Atlanta Hawks, you see Gallinari, DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella, Trae Young, Kevin Huerter. Not sure what's up still with our guy John Collins. He did not play in this one tonight. Okwangu getting some minutes here off the bench. Lou Williams, Bogdan Bogdanovic coming off the bench, and it looks like DeLon Wright right now. So for the Bulls, we mentioned their starters at the top of the show. You got DeRozan, Javonte Green. He's an interesting player, not a big scorer, but look what when he gets the starting minutes, man. When he pops off, like it's random. Some of his scoring pops off, but he's a good statistical player. Rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. You can see most games he's going to touch 5 categories. So I like Javonte Green, and they really don't have another player like him that can play the 3 and the 4 position. And I mean, I guess that they have a couple other players, but it looks like this is the guy that they want on the floor the most. I do like Troy Brown, sure. Derek Jones is fine, but I think Javonte Green's established himself as the best player there. Dosumu needs to be rostered again. I don't know why he's still only 26% rostered. If you play in 8 and 10 man leagues, this is a starter. And Kobe White coming off the bench. I hope he can embrace this role. He was super hot right before the All-Star break. You see the fantasy numbers here just being massive. So I'm hoping with Levine back, he can kind of ease into that sixth man role and still be useful for fantasy. Tristan Thompson, his first game with the Chicago Bulls. So this is pretty cool. We'll see if he can kind of settle in as the main backup to Vucevic here. Really nice. I really like what Chicago has done here from a roster standpoint. Really deep. They got the good backup center. They got Kobe White off the bench, and they're going to mix in Derek Jones and Troy Brown Jr. off the bench here. So pretty solid top to bottom here. But again, that game's midway, I guess, start of the second quarter. Let's move on to the Grizzlies and the T-Wolves. Memphis up 36-23. Starters for the Grizzlies were Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams, Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Zaire Williams. Zaire Williams, man, hot man of the night. Only 0.5% rostered, but this is a rookie here who's getting some good minutes with a really good team. Interesting player here. Hasn't really been a good scorer consistent for fantasy, but he continues to start with this team. Brandon Clark coming off the bench here. Kyle Anderson off the bench as well. There's Tyus Jones, Conker, and D'Anthony Melton. Man, these guys are so deep. Like they don't even have to use Tillman or Culver or even Killian Tilly. Like this team is really deep. But right now it's Zaire Williams having a good hot start here. Steven Adams is playing well too. Off the top of the bench there. But the Timberwolves, this is an interesting team. A young team still. You see Jared Vanderbilt getting the start, Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, Patrick Beverley. He probably needs to be rostered at this point. He's a 20% rostered player. But the minutes, man, like averaging more than 30 minutes per game. I like the fantasy numbers here. Only one game under 20 fantasy points. And for the most part here, he's going to be a very useful player down the stretch here. So they really don't have a true backup point guard here. McLaughlin's interesting, but this looks like it's going to be a lot of Beverley, a lot of time here. So it's going to be Beverley and Russell, handling the points. Taurean Prince, interesting guy here, but I kind of like this Jaden McDaniels as a player here who probably in 10 and 12, he's a borderline rosterable player in 10-man leagues, probably worth getting on your team in 12-man leagues because kind of getting starter minutes. Like he's like the sixth man for this team, and he actually had been taking minutes away from Jared Vanderbilt, who is a really productive player, but over the last couple games, his minutes were down just a little bit, and I noticed McDaniels was starting to take over that. So keep an eye on that situation. I do like, again, in 10 and 12-man leagues, Jaden McDaniels probably needs to be rostered here. So he's pretty fun player for the Timberwolves. And then Malik Beasley playing at the moment right now too. What else we got? So Suns and Thunder. This is a fun team. Our fun game. One, SGA is back, so I'm very thankful for Gilgeous Alexander to be back in the mix. But this was kind of the hot one that we wanted to look at with the Suns and the Chris Paul injury. Who's getting the starter minutes? Cam Johnson gets the start tonight. So far, midway through the second quarter, only 10 minutes, 2 points, 1 board, 1 assist, 1 block. Kind of a player here who is in a 10-man league, he's fringe rosterable. In a 12-man league, you probably want to get him on your team. But this is very interesting. I think if he continues to start, I'm intrigued. But Aaron Holiday was the guy the first player off the bench. He's going to be he's the true point guard here. So just so far, 4 points, 2 assists, 1 steal. It's looking like he's going to be the main point guard here. And another point guard, Alfred Payton, has not checked in yet. I can show you in my league here. I'm holding on to Cameron Payne. I think he's going to be heavily involved soon. So we're probably going to see some kind of weird rotation of Holiday, Payton, and Cameron Payne. I'm holding out hope for Payne to be the best player of the group. But right now it looks like Cam Johnson is the winner. Aaron Holiday actually has more minutes than him and Miles Bridges. So at the moment right now, I would say Holiday looks like the winner. He just had another bucket. So 6, 1, and 3 and a steal here. Really good numbers here for Aaron Holiday. Probably the guy you want to pick up right now. Shamet getting some minutes here off the bench. JaVale McGee getting some good minutes here off the bench so far. Let's take a peek here at the OKC Thunder. So Basley getting the start. This is a player, he was like going ham right before the All-Star break. So you look at his numbers before the All-Star break. This is a 8, 10, 12-man league, I think he should be rostered. Definitely a player you can trust right now, and OKC is going to continue to give him minutes. Derek Favors is interesting because he has no consistency with this team whatsoever, but tonight he gets to start. If he continues to start, I'll be intrigued. There's SGA back on the court here. Having a rough game, though. A rough game. 4 turnovers so far. Not playing his greatest. Wiggins having an interesting game so far tonight, too. His minutes have been, fluctuating for the most part, but definitely keep an eye on him just in case we need to add him in the future. And then Giddey, of course, one of the most rostered rookies for sure. Nothing really else for fantasy on this team. Poku playing well. I would imagine I would like to see him get the start over Derek Favors. That might be interesting for fantasy. And then Trey Mann was like the first guy off the bench. So a really good scorer for him. He's going to be herky-jerky with the fantasy points, but it looks like they want to get him minutes. Again, he was the first guy off the bench for this team. No Lou Dort tonight. So Dort's missing. I think if Dort's not going to play, Trey Mann's going to be the guy that you want to get in your lineup. But so far, it looks like Phoenix Suns are just kind of moving through this one pretty simply. And again, Aaron Holiday and Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson probably needs to be rostered right now because it looks like they want him more involved with this one. So kind of fun. And then, those are the only live games so far. Warriors, Blazers. I'm very intrigued to see what happens at the 4-5 position. I kind of want to go make a preemptive pickup here because I have a feeling he's going to play well. Not Phoenix. What am I doing? I want to go to Portland. Well, first of all, Justice Winslow. If Winslow's available, guys, go make sure Winslow's available or not available. He needs to be rostered. He is. Where is he? He's only 17% rostered. This is probably the pickup of the year, I think, at this point. Look at these last 5 numbers. If we get that numberage for the rest of the season, this is a league-winning pickup. So I really like Jay Winslow. And then Trendon Watford. He's going to be one of the most, probably the hottest name. If he goes off tonight and so look at this. When he gets 22 minutes, he gets 24 fantasy points. 20 minutes and 24 minutes and 20 minutes. Not the best games here, but 23 minutes the other night, he gets 29.5 points. So not really sure what to expect of him. He's going to be starting, though, tonight, and I'm intrigued. So if I were to go and hit add on this guy, I don't know if there's anyone that I can cut on my team, to be honest. So I might have trouble adding him. But if you need someone, this is worth a preemptive add for sure. And I don't know. I just think if you need center help, probably a good spot to start. And now that we are kind of all caught up on the games, I'm probably going to get out of here in a few minutes. But I just wanted to shout out, this is the free league fantasy fellowship. If you're still watching this, I need help. Next year, I would like to keep this league going. It's a 10-man league, but I have 3 stragglers here. I have 3 teams, 3 players that signed up. They haven't made moves all year. I have, if you guys want to play, message me in the comments or hit me up on Twitter, letting me know. I can have you guys take over their team right now if you want to hop into it. I can send you the invite. So it's on ESPN, but I have these bottom 3 teams, 8, 9, and 10, all up for grabs here. And they're they're out of the playoffs, but if you wanted to, get your spot in for next year, this is a free league. We just play for fun. And I end up giving the winner $25. So if you want to play, let me know in the comments below. I'm looking for 3 new players. And that's about it. So quick Thursday night live show. Subscribe if you're new. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next week. Peace.